Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's week 12, season 2, 2024. We are in the Formula Vee for the final week of the season at Virginia International Raceway North course. It's going to be a fantastic final race of the season. Champions will be crowned. I'm going to drop out the top two and everyone gets a participation trophy. Thanks for coming. If you are new to the channel, what we do is we do one lap in the cockpit where I slow it all down. I show you my braking points. You can then criticise them to your heart's content in your head. Then we go to chase cam for a full speed rundown and a final time back in the cockpit for a full speed with the driving line on. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Let's start the lap. Right, usual preamble as we start off here. I've loaded this test session from the V schedule, as everybody should be doing. That way the track and weather conditions should be the same that we experienced during the racing week. Now, it's not like it used to be seasons and seasons ago where we all loaded into the exact same thing every time. It's going to change slightly now because of the tempest system, but the track temperature should be virtually the same. That's why it's also important that you watch videos on a weekly basis as they are brand new, rather than picking a video from 3 years ago when the physics was different, the weather was different. Even a year ago is totally different now. So, we're over on the left-hand side, and what we're looking for here is, on the left, between the 1 marker and the final marker, there is a Michelin sign, and just as we get to the Michelin sign, just before it, we're going to brake quite hard in a straight line, up to about 80% there or thereabouts. So, as always, in a straight line at full braking, as we trail off, that's allowing the tyres slightly more use of the grip for us to start turning the car and getting the car to rotate in the right direction. So long trail all the way down to the apex. When we get there, we build back up in 3rd gear, having dropped it down. We're at 100% accelerator, nice and early. Car's going to drift out wide, get it back across to the right-hand side. Now as we come up to turn 2, you will see everyone in the race aiming for that apex here at turn 2. We're going to ignore that because that's not the fastest way around the track. It's the fastest way around this corner, but not the track. We're wanting to open up the entry into turn 3. So we're going to ignore this fake apex, take it nice and wide through here, and we're going to leave it in 3rd gear. Normally I would be changing up to 4th gear where we are right now, but what we're wanting to do is this car enjoys a thing called lift off oversteer, which means that when it's got high revs and you lift off the throttle, the rear actually starts to act like a brake because the engine braking causes the rear to slow down. It actually kicks it out, so you can get more rotation doing that. We actually want that to be able to rotate the car to go around turn 3 as fast as we can. If we changed up to 4th gear, rather than leaving it in 3rd here, we wouldn't get the same rotation because the engine braking wouldn't be from as high a rev range. Anyway, sounds boring, totally is, but just know that 3rd gear is the fastest way around here. So what we're looking for is just ahead of me now. You can see this rubbery bit of the track. That's because it's a big braking zone. Once we get to the rubbery bit, we're going to do a big lift from 100%. We're turning nice and early. I'm going to drop it down to about 20%. As you can see, I'm just putting a bit of right hand down just to steady the rear as it started to kick out a bit with that engine braking and the lift off oversteer. I'm looking to cut across the apex here. I've built back up to sort of 50%. I'm holding it there until the car's settled and coming off the apex. Now as I'm moving away from the apex, I'm back up to 100% throttle. Car's going to drift out to the right-hand side. This is absolutely fine where I am. You can make full use of all of the green tarmac as well as the grey stuff. I see lots of people keeping it inside the white line, so you're just killing your times. And now what we're looking for is just up ahead of us. You can see the change of colour in the asphalt up ahead. So just as we get there, I'm going to brake in a straight line, leaving it in 3rd gear, only up to about 50–60%, and it's a short dab of the brakes with a quick trail off, leaving it in 3rd gear. I'm looking to cut the corner here at 4, getting back on the throttle nice and early so that as I'm on the apex, I'm at 100% throttle. I'm doing a big cut over the rumble strip. I'm even touching a tiny bit of grass, which I've often been told to do anyway. I'm now going to leave it on full throttle all the way to turn 7, the uphill. So you're wanting to cut the corners as best as possible. That's going over the rumble strip. That is part of the track. Trying to keep the track and course as short as possible as we look for the braking marker in 4th gear for turn 7. So up ahead we've got the Marshall's hut, and because people drive badly, they've built some lovely protecting railings for the Marshalls. So that just before we get there is going to be our braking marker. So just before we get to these green higher railings on the left hand side, we're going to do a quick brake up to about 60% in 4th gear. We're going to trail that off nice and early, and we're going to get back onto the throttle really early when we're about a third of the way up the hill. So I'm still trailing off the brake. I'm still getting my car rotated round as I'm still on 2%, 2%, 1%, 0. Now the next frame, you're going to see me hit the old gear change to 3rd gear up to 100% throttle so early. And I'm looking to again run over the rumble strip on the right hand side. Car's going to kick out left, that's fine. Go over the rumble strip. Same again, we're leaving it in full throttle. The reason why I'm not changing up at this exact point is because we're going uphill. I'm wanting the extra torque that the higher rev range is giving us right now. And I'm actually going to look for the little plateau that comes after the next 2 sort of kinks before I change to 4th gear. It's very easy to spot in VR, and here we are just now. This is where I'm changing up to 4th. Keeping it as straight as possible, opening up the entry to 14. And just as we get to the end of the rumble strip on the left-hand side, I'm going to brake and do a little dab of the brakes up to 75% or thereabouts very quickly. Trail that off down to the apex. Very tricky corner this. Change it down into 3rd. And again, we're back on the throttle, cutting the corner, going over the rumble strips on the left-hand side. We want a nice wide entry into the second to last turn here. We're going to change up to 4th gear. And again, what we're looking to do is cut this next corner. And when we cut it, so we're in 4th gear, absolutely flat on the accelerator. And we're going to go over a tiny bit of the grass, a little bit of rumble strip as well. And that's just so that we can open up this corner. And the reason why we open up this corner is we're not actually wanting to brake here at all. As we come off the apex, we're going to do a big lift down to virtually nothing on the accelerator. And we're going to start building that back up as we apex on it. And as you can see, back on the gas, hold it round to the right-hand side. Your car doesn't want to be pointing at the track at this time. You want to be steering to go over the middle of the yellow and green paint on the floor here. Holding it as straight as possible. You might have the wind with you on this, in which case you'll go flying against my Delta. I've got a little bit of an into the head crosswind. And over and across the line in a 1:41.532. Decent time, should be competitive this week. Yeah, any questions? Let me know in the comments, guys. Okay, now time for the full speed run through from the chase cam. So over to the left hand side, looking for that last Michelin sign, braking hard, trailing it off, down to 3rd gear at the apex, getting back on the throttle, over to the right hand side, ignoring this next apex coming out. Looking for the rubber, big lift, build back up, back on the throttle, exit nice and wide. Looking for the change of colour, braking hard, into 3rd gear, holding the throttle, making these corners. Change up to 4th on this dip. Over to the left hand side, looking for the railings protecting the Marshall's hut. When we get there, quick brake, 60%, trail it off, down to 3rd, exit wide, cut the corner, cut the next corner, holding it in 3rd, waiting for the hill to stop, now into 4th. Nice wide entry here, quick on the brakes, trail it off fast, down to 3rd gear, back over to the left hand side, up to 4th, big lift, back on the throttle. Very simple, very straightforward. All the passing is going to happen on the straight, unless you're in a lower split, in which case I'm just going to pass wherever, because it's crazy down there. One final time from the cockpit with the driving line on without me speaking. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and for those of you that do click on Buy Me a Beer, you are legends. I'll see you again in the week. I've been Sambo iRacing.